nonviolent political earthquake in this country that changes the alignments in society, including among those in the halls of power, to compel and enable those in power who are opposed to Trump's lawlessness, his shredding of the Constitution, his trampling of our rights, to compel and enable them to act as part of removing this regime. And the time to do this is now. And there are millions and tens of millions across this country who hate what Trump is doing. They have been in the streets again and again. We have been with them. But it is time to take this struggle higher. That's why we said on November 5th, this is not a one-day protest. This is the beginning of a growing nonviolent movement that will not stop until Trump is removed. So today we are gathering for part 1 of Surround the White House 1.0. This is a play in 3 acts. We're doing it 3 times, 1.0. Today, this Monday at 3 p.m., right back here, yes, 3 p.m., leave work, leave school, disrupt business as usual, and come out. And again, on Monday the 24th at 3 p.m., building and coming back again and again. And we are sending a message to the people across this country to come to D.C. and build the power of the people to drive out this regime. So I want to give some respect to these beautiful women sitting in the front here, part of the D.C. Handmaids Army. They helped kick this movement off on November 5th, and they are a living embodiment of the Christian fascist terror that is a big part of the Trump fascist regime. The enslaving of women to forced motherhood and no right to abortion or birth control. The demonization and erasure of LGBTQ people and their rights. And the whole bringing of a Christian fascist theocracy. So I want to give them some extra love right here in the front. And what we're going to do today, we're going to hear from a few of the leaders in this movement. We're going to have a few speakers, and then we are going to begin the process of surrounding the White House 1.0. We brought crime scene tape because there is a crime going on. There is a fascist in the White House, and we are going to use this crime scene tape to mark off the crime and the criminals and to send a message. And we are going to be summoning more and more people to join us. The idea is this: every day we are surrounded by Trump's lies. Every day immigrants are surrounded by ICE, tackled and disappeared. Every day we are surrounded by politicians who cave and capitulate to Trump and his crimes. And it is time for us, through the power of the people, to surround them. That's what we are beginning. So what I want to do is I want to bring up our first speaker. He is one of the leaders of the November 5th Trump Must Go Now movement. He is a longtime activist, somebody who is a studied theologian, and somebody who stood up against the sweatshops that Nike had in Indonesia and other sweatshops around the world for decades. Please show some love for Jim Keedy.
Good afternoon, Washington, D.C. How's everybody doing out there? Ready to refuse some fascism today and tell the world that the Trump regime must go now? Excellent. My name is Jim Keedy. I was very happy to drive down to D.C. again today from the great Garden State of New Jersey. Any of my fellow New Jersey residents, Jersey strong. Here's what I would like everybody to do. I know you're holding your signs up. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to take your cell phones out as well, because a lot of the message that I'm going to deliver here today is going to be similar to the message I delivered on November 5th. It won't be for you. It's going to be for the people who are at home right now that need to get out and join us in the future. So please take your phones out, pop it on Instagram Live, your Facebook Live, record it, send it to friends later. I'll give you 20 seconds. My daughter did win her game. Thank you for asking. Yes. But they lost in the next round. It's okay. All right, everybody's got their phones out. So again, my name is Jim Keedy. I am here from New Jersey, standing with all of you from around D.C. and around the nation with the Refuse Fascism movement to tell the world that the Trump regime must go now. Along with being an activist with 30 years of experience in doing grassroots activism on a range of issues, along with serving in public office in the great city of Asbury Park in New Jersey. I'm also a dad. I am an Irish tavern owner. If you're ever in Waretown, New Jersey, come on in, Lighthouse Tavern. I am also a soccer coach. As a former professional, I've played the game and coached the game for 48 years of my life. And I want to tell you a story that relates to what we need to do here and moving forward. So this past Thursday, the team that I coach, the Christian Brothers Academy Colts, an all-boys Catholic school of which I am an alum, and I'm happy to be back there coaching, we were up against the Big Blue Bears of the Pingree School in the sectional state championship. They were the favorites, we were the underdogs, and these kids had worked from June until November to get to that game. They made massive sacrifices. Were deeply committed to each other. They worked as individuals. They worked as a team. They went through every training session that we had. They fought hard in games to get there, to get to that sectional championship. And I want you to imagine this high school boys soccer team, all the sacrifices they put in. And the morning of the championship game, they say, well, Coach, can't we just play the game here at home? Well, no, the sectional final is up in Bernardsville and Pingree. Well, can't we just stay home and play it? Well, I guess you could stay home, but you won't be in the game. And you will have absolutely no chance of winning the match and getting yourself to the state championship. And this is the reality that we need to bring home to people all around the United States. The field of play to save our constitutional republic, our representative democracy, from a complete consolidation of power and a takeover by a fascist regime cannot be played in your hometown. The field of play is here in our nation's capital, here in the shadow of the White House. And this is why we need to have every American who is righteously pissed off about Trump to make some sacrifices to get here to the nation's capital. It is not going to be easy. I've had conversations with a couple of friends over the last few days, and the sense that I'm getting, what I'm discerning from what they're sharing with me, is that they just want this to go away. Can't we just vote him out? Can't we just do a demonstration in our hometown? No, absolutely not. Yes, we won some election victories this last Tuesday. That isn't stopping the fascists in the White House from consolidating power. They're hitting back even harder. They're hitting back in the streets with the ICE Gestapo forces. They tried to hit back at the Supreme Court by taking away the rights of LGBTQ brothers and sisters. They're hitting back, weaponizing the Department of Justice against people in Congress who don't agree with them and were standing up and speaking out. This is not going away. We are not voting our way out of this in the midterms. Now, the people who are here, you get it already, and thank you for being here. For the people who are not here and are at home today, we hear you. We hear you if we have personal conversations. We see what you post on your Facebook pages, your Instagram posts, threads, smoke signals, whatever you use. We know that you're saying that you believe that Trump is a fascist. We know that you're saying that you believe he's consolidating power, that he wants to crush dissent, weaponize the courts, weaponize our military against our own people in the United States. You know this, and you have your reason or your multiple reasons on why you too believe that Trump must go now. And if you believe that in your core, you need to ask yourself, if you believe that fascism is currently sitting in the seat of power in our White House, what is more important for you on a Saturday afternoon than saving our republic from that fascist regime? I'm not saying these words to admonish you, for the folks who are not here with us today. But it is a challenging invitation from a coach. Coach Keaty is telling you, it is time to get off the sidelines. The game at hand is here. The field of play is our nation's capital. And the championship that is at stake is our very constitutional republic and our representative democracy for ourselves, for our children, for our grandchildren, and for every person that will live beyond. We are taking the stand in these streets. Those of you who are here, shout out right now for yourselves. Go ahead. You are the seeds of the nonviolent revolution that very quickly must become a giant harvest that we will reap as we will take back our country from the fascists. Because we refuse to live in a fascist America. And that's why each and every one of us here today is calling on you not only to say these words, but to live them with your actions. And join us in D.C. next Monday, and the Monday after that, and the rallies and marches after that, and be willing to make the sacrifices, because we all believe that Trump must go now. Thank you very much.
Who needs a sign?
Four principles that guide this movement and enable us to unite from very different perspectives, from different walks of life, from different parts of the country. I forgot to shout out New Jersey. I'm glad that Jim made up for that. Where we don't share all the same viewpoints. And we're learning to work together and not just check our differences at the door, but discuss them, learn from each other, get to know each other as we deepen our unity in the determination that the fascist Trump regime must not be allowed to control the future. Our diversity, contrary to what Pete Hegseth says, is our strength. Our diversity in backgrounds, in languages, in skin tones, in genders, and yes, in outlooks and points of view. This is a strength. It's a strength today, and it's a strength of the future that we are fighting for.
That's right.
But to hold this movement together, you can shout out for that.
Yeah.
To hold this movement together, we have distilled four principles that guide us and hold us together, that across our viewpoints and diversity, we all hold on to. And so I'm going to lead this in a call and response. I want you to respond with the same line I say back to me.
Sing it.
Number one, our solemn vow.
Number one, our solemn vow.
All right, I want you guys to try to have a little bit of melody in your cadence, okay? I know we chant a lot, and I know I'm not the most melodic person, but on this one, it's a little bit, it hangs together. It's got a beauty to it, okay? Number one, our solemn vow.
Number one, our solemn vow.
Much better. Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Number two, we're nonviolent.
Number two, we're nonviolent.
Gather millions and don't relent.
Gather millions and don't relent.
Number three, we must unite. march together here protesting the fascists. We chant this when we march out to the college campuses. We chant this when we march through the neighborhoods, and we call on people to join us. We're going out to the people. Every single person here is here because you know that Trump must go now, but now we have to become organizers, every single one of us. And these four principles hold this together and can invite new people into this movement so that we can grow. So with that, I want to bring up our next speaker, one of the co-founders of Refuse Fascism back in 2016, way ahead of the curve, a longtime follower of the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian, who is also the architect of the new communism and has really analyzed and given warning to the rise of fascism in this country. Andy Z. Give some love to Andy Z.
Hey, you. How you doing?
All right, give some love for Andy Z.
It's a little high here, but all right. So it used to be said in the 1960s, the power of the people is stronger than the man's technology. Well, hopefully this technology will work, and can you hear me in the back? All right. Look, you're here because you've opened your eyes. You've opened your hearts. You've opened your minds to critical thinking. And you've activated your moral compass to get your butts in motion this morning and put your boots or sneakers, as I see it is, on the ground here in the nation's capital to demand Trump must go now. So now that you've opened your eyes, I'm going to ask you to shut your eyes for a moment. That's good. Imagine a sea of people. From here to the White House, to the Capitol, to the Supreme Court, to every institution, creeping beneath the ground, shaking the ground, getting underneath the Potomac River, to those people still in the Pentagon who have some degree of upset about the removal of black and Latino and women and trans from the forces, and are disgusted by the idea of waging war on the soil of America and fighting against the very people who make up this country. We can shake these institutions. Every day, we need thousands of people in the streets of D.C. Now, not next year, not waiting and seeing what's going to happen, but now. The hundreds of you need to become thousands to become millions in the next 6 weeks before Christmas. There is no time. We are going to be a breathing small city in Washington within a larger city. Okay. I'm going to do this different. Never mind some morning musings. I want to speak to you from the heart here. We're thousands who came out on the 5th of November. Today we're hundreds. We need millions. And there are millions of people out there who hate what is happening in this country. But they hope we're not right. They want to wait it out. They want to hope against reality. They don't believe what they're seeing before them. But you do. And you're right, and they're not. That's not a casual phrase. You're right. You opened your eyes, you shook your conscience, You thought about it critically. You came out here today, and we're going to surround this White House in a model of what has to happen by millions of people. Because what are the stakes if we don't do this? Our freedom. And not just our freedom, but the people of the world. Over 100,000 people have died in Africa because of the removal of aid. The climate is way past the tipping point. Or I should say it is heading way past the tipping point. But with the measures of this regime, this poses an existential question for the future of humanity. This matters. You know it. Many of the people out there who came out on No King's Day know it, but they're not acting on it. That's on you, that's on us to bring this message of Trump must go now and to make the case why it has to happen and why it has to happen now and that there's only one power to do this. So think about this. When you surround in our hundreds of thousands and millions the Capitol, when you're out in front of every institution in this city, there are people in there who are cowering. And I know it's hard to believe that that Congress, who just capitulated to Trump when they had some initiative, could be shaken from their complicity. But they can be. But they will not do it on their own. They will not do it without you modeling what has to be done. There has to be a power of the people, creating an earthquake below so that the windows of every institution shake, that the light of your resistance shines in there and exposes the people who are doing nothing right now, but wasting the time of humanity. It's not their time, it's not our time, but our time is one in which we have to get out in the streets and sacrifice, as Jim just said, to bring about a political earthquake from below, such that those in power do what needs to be done. Because we're going to do it, and that involves all of you taking a stand now, coming back on Monday, and the next Monday. So I want to talk just a little bit about this plan. Surround the White House, November 15th, November 17th, November 24th. Why do we say that? What about one day? Why don't we just do November 15th and then we'll see what happens? Because we are telling people this has got to be a continuing struggle. This is not a one-day affair. This is a serious struggle for what is the direction of society. And you got to then remember what you saw when you closed your eyes as millions of people filled the mall and stretched all the way across the river. That's what has to be in your mind and in your heart, and you have to fight for it. Yes, nonviolently. This is a nonviolent movement. But it is a determined movement. It is a movement that will involve sacrifice. Yes, our sacrifice. And damn it, that's something we should be proud to do. Yeah. And let's be clear, we got to talk some truth here. The midterm elections, as Jim said, is way too late. What are you fucking talking about? We're going to have a new Congress in January of 2017? 2027. Maybe I have some nostalgia. But actually, in 2017, it would have been good if people listened to us back then. That's right. It would have been even better if people listened to Bob Avakian in the 1990s when he said this Christian fascist crusade was on a roll and going to sweep up the whole country. People thought we were lunatics for saying that. Well, now, who are the lunatics? Those who didn't believe the actual reality that was unfolding right beneath our very eyes. So we've got 3 dates. 3 dates that have to grip the imagination and get larger and larger. And the imagination they need is people leaving their jobs for a day, for a week, coming after work, taking shifts. The DMV area should be like a giant accordion with hundreds and thousands and millions coming in for a couple days and then going home and coming back. People coming from around the country to D.C. This is what you have to tell your relatives, your friends. We have to organize this. We said last week that every one of you is now a leader. And you're not just leading your friends and your neighbors. You're leading the remaining people of conscience in these institutions here. And you are telling them not to comply with the norms of society, but to do what needs to be done to remove the regime. You are telling people who resist ICE, keep it up, but get in the streets of D.C. at the same time. You are telling people who are feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, keep it up, but get to D.C. because you are not going to Trump-proof one city. You are not going to Trump-proof one state. The political power of a fascist regime is living across the street that needs to be evicted. It's occupying the halls of Congress. They need to do what they need to do, or yes, they'll get out. But if we start thinking now, and I have to say this, that what we should put our attention to is primarying those who capitulated in Congress. That is a strategy, to be clear, of waiting till the next election. An election that, if it even happens, will be rigged and is already being rigged, and if by some stretch of the imagination there were a majority of Democrats elected, why would anybody believe, in possession of their faculties, that somebody who led an insurrection to overturn the last election, pardoned every last one of them, pardoned everybody who came up with bogus schemes to overturn the election, would honor anything in 2017, and besides which, the Supreme Court that's in his pocket will have outlawed dissent before then. So you're appointed to lead this. And I'm pausing because I want you to think about it. There's a handful of us in Refuse Fascism who've been leading this since 2016. There's hundreds more around the country now, thousands probably, who are following this. It is everybody here's job to make this millions of people, starting now. The reason this is called Surround the White House 1.0 is to enable those with some imagination to imagine 2.0 and 3.0 and 5.0 when we have the millions we need to actually shake the ground such that the regime is removed from power. So we start on Monday. We start, as Sansara said before, at 3 p.m. That's enough time, if you're still in school, to walk out of school. If you can leave early, just leave early. If school ends early for you, get down here and organize, go to the next school over, and tell them, get out of class and come down to the White House. We got business to take care of. We got the future to take care of. So that's what we're doing here. This Monday, the following Monday. Get connected up. Sansara and others will give you the plans. But as we end, or I end and others end, every speech we give, every small gathering, even if it's just two people over a beer or coffee, it's important to recognize for whom are we doing this and for what are we doing this. So before I get to that chant, I do want to echo something Sansara said. I don't want to leave it at that. This is a movement that has to comprise millions. That means those who believe deeply in the Constitution of this country and what it's supposed to, the rights it's supposed to have, and are outraged that those rights are being ripped away. It does involve people like Sansara and myself who are working for a constitution for a whole radically different society to emancipate humanity. But we are all united around the single demand of Trump must go now. And as she said, and this is very important, it is necessary that we actually talk about all this. Because this is a serious problem that humanity faces, and we're not going to get clear on it without discussion and debate. So I wanted to bring that back in and then say this, and ask you to join me in saying, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. Now this time, we need to say it so that all those people, the tourists over there, hear us. So in the name of humanity, we refuse
to accept
a fascist America.
a fascist America.
And the power of the people is what's going to bring this regime down.
That's right.
All right, let's hear it for Andy Z. Now, I want to say that we are told that change happens when people in offices of power get around to it. We are told that change happens when you lobby for it, or you call enough times for it, or you vote for it. But the truth is, if you study history in this country, even in quote-unquote normal times, the massive changes that we celebrate, the people we sing songs about, the people we watch movies about, they did not sit back and wait till something was electable. They went out in the streets and they put themselves on the line and they woke up the conscience of millions of others and they changed what was possible. This is how civil rights were won. This is how Jim Crow was torn down. This is how women won the right to abortion. This is how we won the equality for LGBTQ people. We did not win these rights by sitting back and lobbying. People put themselves on the line. People gave their lives, and it was right, and it was worth it. And I will tell you this. Even the right to vote was not won by voting. Think about that. And that's in normal times, and we are not in normal times. We are in a time when the fascist tyrant in the White House already incited one insurrection, pardoned the insurrectionists as his number one act on day one of his regime. This week pardoned 77 more of the people who tried to steal the election. His movement is packed election deniers into key state offices to oversee the next elections in 18 states. This man is not going to sit back. Not only do we not have time to wait a year and a half for new people in office, immigrants whose families are being shattered now do not have time. Trans people whose rights are being erased now do not have time. The planet that is being destroyed right now does not have time. Science and medicine that is being dismantled now does not have time. The academy and the universities that are being purged of any discussion of gender and race and the actual fucking history of this country does not have time.
Yeah.
The legal sphere that is under attack with law firms being extorted by this regime does not have time. So not only do we not have time, you have to be smoking something to think that you can have him respect an election he loses.
Yeah.
We cannot wait for the midterms, and we cannot count on the midterms. We have to act now.
Yeah.
And so I want to echo something that Andy said, something very important. You are here because you recognize this. You are here because you recognize this. There are tens of millions of people with decent hearts, not the people who cheer for what ICE is doing, the people whose hearts are ripped open by it, the people who poured into the streets on No King's Day, the people who are defending their neighbors. There are tens of millions who care, but they are still denying how fast this is moving, how qualitative and dangerous it is. And so you are right, and they are not right. And we have to get out there and bring them into this movement. We need to do it with love, but we need to do it with truth and clarity and no compromises. Because it's not about us, it's not about you, and it's not about their feelings. It's about the future of humanity. So this is why I wish there was 10,000 people today. I wish there was 1 million people today, and there's millions who care. But however many we are, it matters all the more when the rest of the decent people are not there yet. It matters all the more that there are and we must not give up on that. So we have 2 more brief speakers, and then we are going to do something that is modeling for the millions what we need to have them come join us in doing, in surrounding the White House. And we are going to get this out on social media, and all of you should amplify it. And then at the end, I want you to know one of the most beautiful things about this movement, besides our diversity, besides the clarity and the truth we tell, besides the willingness to sacrifice and disrupt our lives because something bigger is going on, and actually it's an expression of that, is at the end of almost every protest we have, it breaks out into a beautiful dance party. And we definitely have that planned because there is joy in standing up and celebrating and being in this together. So I want you to know we're going to have a closing rally and send-off that is going to be equally important as the surround that we're about to do. So we have 2 very brief speakers, and then we're going to get to it. Ralph Nix is a veteran. He is a leader of the Reduced Fascism Chapter DMV. He's also one of the captains of the Marshals. He does everything. Give some love to Ralph.
Good afternoon, all you humane, moral U.S. citizens. I am Ralph, and I am from the DMV chapter, and I'd like to meet each and every one of you sometime in the march today. I don't care what brings you here. I don't care if it's the tariffs. I don't care if it's the destruction of the Constitution. I don't care if it's taking brown and black people off the streets throughout our country, including using Blackhawks in Washington, D.C., and putting plastic cuffs on children. I am here to tell you what I have seen after serving my country for 35 years is heartbreaking and is illegal as sinking the ships of Venezuela, the boats of Venezuela, and setting up a battle group off the coast of Venezuela.
Yes.
We are going to march today, and we're going to have crime scene tape. And we're going to put crime scene tape as far around the White House as we can, because the criminals is in the White House. I have one challenge for each and every one of you here. We are going to be back in the streets in front of the White House on Monday. I want you to go home. I want you to go to school. I want you to go to work. I want you to get 4 to 5 of your friends to bring with you. I should be able to look from this podium and not see the end of the crowd. I am enthused to be able to march with my moral U.S. citizens. And please reach out and bring people in. And we're going to have a good time today.
All right, that is Ralph. You always want Ralph with you if you are standing up against injustice and criminality. All right, and so finally, we have another musical group. We started with Waking Stone. There's a beautiful future revolutionary rock band, Outer National, who was slated to perform for us today, but does not have their whole sound system. So we want to invite the lead singer up to give a few words. I want you to look them up online, Outer National. They'll blow your minds, they'll lift your spirits, they will give you something to rock out to. And I want you to join me in welcoming Miles Soleil.
Wow.
We are all in the right place today. This is the place to be. There is nothing more important than we can do with our lives than to stand up for all of humanity. Non-violently, yes, but put our bodies, put our hearts, put our determination, our conviction in our struggle and our time on the line because fascism is a horrible thing anywhere it happens. But we are not talking about Chile in 1973. We are not talking about Haiti. We are not talking about any number of countries that have experienced fascism where hundreds of thousands of people have suffered. We are talking about the most powerful empire in the history of human civilization, with this demented fascistic lunatic who has his finger on the nuclear trigger is jeopardizing all of humanity. A few months ago, the young, courageous, first environmental and then for all of humanity activist Greta Thunberg was stepping onto a ship, and there were thousands of people who were participating in the Gaza flotilla. And a member of the press turned to Greta and they said, "Are you afraid of what Israel is going to do to you?" to Greta. And Greta says, "I am not afraid of Israel. I am afraid of the silence of the people in the face of this great injustice and crime." And this is what we need to be afraid of right now, because we know there are millions and millions of people to this moment, in fact it still remains the majority, who hate this fascism to the depths of their soul, but are doom scrolling their days away, or are hoping and praying for someone else to fix it. The time is now, today, outside the White House. This Monday, outside the White House. Monday the 24th, outside the White House. And hopefully we can get a different dynamic going and a different process going, where first there's hundreds like us today, then there becomes tens of thousands, then there becomes hundreds of thousands, and then there is an uprising, a political earthquake from below that becomes so unignorable, so ferocious, so fierce, so determined that people flood the streets outside of every U.S. embassy and consulate across this whole damn planet and say, "Trump must go now."
Trump must go now.
On the subject, yes, Trump must go. We're going to march now. My name is Miles from Outer National. I wanted to let you know that our band is releasing a song. We covered David Bowie's song on the subject of what Greta Thunberg talked about, being afeared, full of the silence. This Friday, as part of the Fall of Freedom artistic project across the country, we're releasing a David Bowie cover called "I'm Afraid of Americans." Because until this uprising happens, which needs to happen now, we've got to be very fearful of what is being done in our names. So I'm so glad to be here in the streets with all of you today. And the last thing I'll just say is for the young people. I am a firm believer there is no retirement in the ranks of the resistance or the revolution. So when I come out here and see people in their 70s and 80s, I am inspired. However, we all know we've got to get the teenagers and the people in their 20s out into the streets. They can do it. They can do it. We have to go out there and struggle with them and struggle for them, because we ain't going to get this regime out unless there's hundreds of thousands of young people out there. In the name of humanity!
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 We refuse to accept!
We refuse to accept!
A fascist USA!
A fascist USA!
In the name of humanity!
In the name of humanity!
We refuse to accept!
We refuse to accept!
A fascist USA!
A fascist USA!
All right, y'all, so I know I said just 2 more speakers, but we have a treat. We have an unexpected treat, so I'm going to announce it in a second. Before I do, let me repeat some things. To get connected with this movement, refusefascism.org. Refusefascism.org. Right now on Instagram, @refusefascism. Follow it. Spread it to your friends. Get everybody you know to follow it. We are about to surround the White House 1.0. We're coming back Monday the 17th at 3 p.m. right here on 16th and H. We are coming back Monday the 24th, again at 3 p.m., 16th and H, in front of this White House, occupied by a criminal And we are going to be building this nonviolent movement to drive Trump from power. I want to acknowledge, it's very important, there are people in the Remove Trump Coalition doing actions. From the 20th to the 22nd, we have endorsed these, and we want you to know about them, in particular on the 27th. The 22nd, thank you. The 22nd. I'm trying to keep them all straight in my head. Dropkick Murphys will be performing. Other people will be performing. We want a huge contingent out amidst them. Trump must go now. So definitely, if you go to @refusefascism.org, we have the details of all of these dates. And if you follow @refusefascism on Instagram, you will find all of these dates as well. So, without anything else, I want to let you know that we have in from California the Neighborhood Kids to perform for you. Come on up. Here we go. Are you guys ready? It's such a treat. It's such a treat. Here we go. Thank you. Yeah, they do.
Check, check. How we feeling? Power to the people, everybody. Put your fist up. Fist up, fist up. We're performing here tonight and we didn't even know this was going on. This beautiful woman came up to us and said, are you guys the Neighborhood Kids and are you willing to share a song with us? And we would love to share a song with y'all. Y'all okay with that? We even brought our guitarist with us right now. This one song, we feel like it's one of our most important songs that we've written. And this one is for all the immigrants. This one's for all the people. This is indigenous land that we stand on, and we will always respect it and treat it as such. Land back. This next song is not only for all the immigrants, but it's for the people that are always the most disenfranchised, and the ones that always are at the root, and always the ones that are the most overlooked, and that is the children. The children don't know what is going on when they get locked inside of these detention centers. So this next one is called Kids in the Cages, and it's a chant. It's a mantra that I want y'all to sing with us. We believe in the power of words, so I need y'all to say this with us. Get them kids up out the cages. Say it with us. Get them kids up out the cages. Come on. Get them kids up out the cages. We can hear y'all. Get them kids up out the cages. Yeah. When it comes in, I need all of y'all to say it with us. Not for us, but for all those children